strength and use them as our tools. We'll be together as one. Don't be no fools. Come together. Come together. Come together right now. Right now. Right now. Come together. Come together. Come together right now. Right now. Right now. Come together. Come together right now. Come together. Da da da. Come together. Come together. Come together right now. Right now. Right now. Come together. Come together. Come together right now. Right now. Come together right now. Right now, right now. Come together. Come together. Come together right now. Right now. Oh. Come together. Come together. Come together right now. Right now. Right now. Come together right now. Right now. Right now. Come together. Come together right now. You and me, everybody, come. Come together right now. Da-dee-da.
Hi, my name is Gudrun from GE Designs. Welcome to our part 3 of the Jolee Live Quilt Along. Hi everybody, and welcome back to the live feed for the Jolee Live Quilt Along. I am so excited about all your progress. It's so fun to see it kind of in real time as we're following along in our Facebook group. But of course, Mr. HP is here making sure that we are all set up on the tech side. We got some exciting surprises for you in this segment. You know, it's always something new with GE Designs, so you never know what we come up with. So let's dive into a little bit first to show your progress. Let's do a slideshow from the part 2. So some of you, or many of you, have some blocks assembled already, not trimmed yet, but let's take a look at those awesome, awesome blocks. Beautiful progress. I love seeing it all. And so if you have any questions on, before we dive into part 3, post them in the comments and we'll try to address them. I did see that Mr. Jack had to come out for a few of you. Of course, he's always our trusty sidekick, so don't be mad at him. He really does help us out, even though we kind of don't want to have him around most times. But he is very helpful.
Oh,
so
Jack.
Treat your Jack nicely. And remember to replace him when he gets dull. We don't like a dull Jack.
Oh, Jack.
No dull Jacks. I saw a question because of in the little slideshow there was somebody using pinwheels for the little square. So if you don't understand what I mean, so for the little square, she replaced this with a pinwheel block. Now you're not seeing the post and you're not seeing her statement. So she had some pinwheel blocks set aside from working with, you know, leaders and enders and whatever. And so she just replaced them with pinwheel blocks. But if you want to do that, remember the Master Your Strabology Rulers book. You can make half square triangles, make them into pinwheels. That's a 3-inch finished square. So your half square triangles would be 1.5-inch finished. Easy peasy. Let's go.
Easy peasy.
Try that next time. What I love hearing is that you're already thinking about your next Jolee. That's exciting. That's exciting for me as a designer because this is a brand new pattern. So we love that. How easy it is to turn a few fat quarters or half yards, one bundle, into a beautiful quilt in just no time at all. But I think it is time for our part 3 if we don't have any more questions.
I think so.
Yep. Let's dive into part 3 instructions.
You want questions first?
If there's questions on the last part, maybe, yes. Do you go over directional with a horizontal layout for cutting? So if you want horizontal layout, you would have to cut all your directional fabrics opposite than what I explained. So I'm not going to go over that specifically, but that is pretty easy to figure out. You would just need more fabric because you're not going to get 6 blocks out of a half yard. You're going to get only 4. But that's about it. I will talk about the horizontal layout, yes, in part 4. But let's get to part 3 first. So now we should have some blocks, and you might notice they're a little bit lopsided, so it's time to trim our blocks. What you want to do, because these blocks are too long to fit under the Strabology rulers, what I like to do is fold our blocks in half, so you're aligning that top raw edge and just finding making a fold down here. I like to use my squared ruler. It's a little bit more maneuverable. So we'll be trimming this to a 5.5-inch width. So what I want to do is I found my 5.5-inch square, and I'm using that line here on the bottom. You can also go all the way to the 0 line. It really doesn't matter. What we want to is using, let me just pull this down so you can see it better, is using that center white line. And that we want to land on the top 2 corners of that center square. So aligning either the 0 line or the 5.5, doesn't matter. And now I'm just making sure this is aligned and then this is aligned, and we are sure to get a straight block. So now we're just going to make 2 cuts through the 3.5 and the 9-inch slit on the squared ruler. Now on the XL, I'll show you a little bit later how to do that. So 3.5 and the 9. I'm going to move these so they don't mess me up. And now we're just making those 2 cuts. There's going to be just slivers on one side here. And then you should have a 5.5-inch wide block and straight edges. If you feel like your edges over here on each side are not fully straight, you can always test it by laying your block inside. So the blocks are about 16 3/4 maybe a little less once we have them sewn. But you can trim these sides too, and I'm going to show you that in the end. But let's take a look at how we would do this with the XL ruler. So same thing, we're going to fold our blocks in half, and I actually, when I'm trimming, I like to do a few and kind of line them up on my cutting mat and just go down the line to save a little time. But the XL ruler, we're also going to be flipping it to the 1/2 inch trimming side like we did before, and using that white diagonal line, or not diagonal, white straight line, center line. You'll find it if you go along and find the diagonal dotted lines. So they're gonna meet right here in the middle, and that's your white solid line. It's gonna be in between slits. That's gonna be your center line. So I wanna align that with the corners, and then any horizontal line on the bottom, whether it's the 5 inch line, 5.5 inch. So here's my 5.5 inch. I got my center. Making sure this is aligned and this is aligned, and now I can make my cuts. And now we're going to move these to the 5.5 inch marked. Scooch this up so you can see it. So 5.5 is marked here on the bottom, and then we can make our cuts. And same thing, just slivers, and your block should be good. Now, like I said, if you wanted to trim your blocks on this side, if you feel like these are not straight ends, so I would just recommend that you do trim all of your blocks to 16.5 inches. So that way we would just use the XL ruler for that, align any horizontal line on the bottom here, and make sure we have the 0 line and the 16.5. Just center it kind of between those two, and you can make those cuts. What I don't recommend is trimming some blocks and not the others. So if you're not going to trim, just stick to that. If you're ready to trim all of them, make sure you do all of them. So all of them to 16.5. But if you feel like they're pretty straight, it really wouldn't matter. Now, if you are using regular rulers, I would be doing it the very similar way. You can, usually with long rulers, you could leave it open like this. What you want to do is trim it to 5.5. So 2 3/4 is your magic number. That is the 2 3/4 inch line that we want to center right on these corners here. So I would take my stickers and I would put them on my 2 3/4, 1 2 3/4 mark, so I can just always easily align it pretty fast. And then if you're left-handed, I would do it on the other side. And then just make that cut, making sure I'm straight. You want to make it, maybe check the bottom, see if you can be straight on that side too. And make your cut. And then I would turn it. And now I have a cut edge, so now I can just use my 5.5 inch line on this side and make my cut. And there it is. And again, you can check your ends to see if you are needing to trim them on that side, but that is it. This is our block. So you want to go ahead and trim all of your blocks so we're ready for the next part. So now that all of your Jolee blocks have been trimmed, it's time to arrange them into the arrangement that we want. Now I have a lap size here with me. We can see the top, my top row of blocks, not quite all the way to the bottom because I have 5 rows of blocks. But what you want to do now, once you have your blocks finished and trimmed, you want to just arrange them in the rows like this. We're going to be sewing them together in vertical rows. But first off, I just like to arrange them so I'm spreading out the colors evenly. you can see that I just turned them randomly, whichever way works for me, because once we start doing the stagger, you can play with where that square lands, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. Now, if you have any directional fabrics that you want to be oriented correctly in the block, I would make sure I place those first and make sure they are oriented correctly, and then you can place the other ones around it and turn those whichever way you want. So once it's arranged, what I'm looking to do, as you can see, I have some really light ones, I have some really dark ones, and then lots of mediums. So I'm making sure that I have nothing right next to each other that is too close in contrast, too close in value. So there's a little bit of a mix. Now, once we start then moving the blocks around to cut off of the top and sewing it to the bottom, what I also want to make sure I have a variety going down the row, like I have a light and a medium and a light and a dark and so on, that I also want to make sure that my bottom block, that it's on the bottom in the same row, is not going to be the same color or same value as the one at the top, because we're going to be sewing those two together, so we want that to be a little bit different. So that would be the first step. Of course, if you don't want to stagger, there's always an opportunity to just sew them together like this. And you could do something very organized as far as turning every other block so that you have the squares always kind of staggered in a very organized fashion. So that is an option. But if you want to do the staggering, and well, either way, then you would sew your blocks into rows. And then once we have all the rows assembled, then I'm going to show you how we do the staggering and play with it and finish off the rows to be ready to sew together. So this is for step one, and I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I'm happy with this and sew my rows together into the 13 vertical rows, which is lap size. Of course, if you're making smaller or bigger, you would have a little bit more going on. And then I'm going to take you through how we finish it all up. So now I have all my rows sewn together, and it's time to start staggering and playing with how I want the seams to land. The goal is, the original pattern is that we are randomly shifting the rows so the seams will land in different places. But sometimes things aren't always so random. We want to kind of plan it out. We want to be able to see where those squares land. And then also, as we shift them, what colors are together. So here's a really good tool. So as you have your page 5 in the pattern, it shows here on the right side how I organized everything. I arranged everything first, and then I have an imaginary line, which is my imaginary cut line, arranged here in this diagram on the left side. And so what I have done here is kind of replicated that line. I put just a little piece of fabric here, so the bottom of that is going to represent my cut line. Another little tool that you want to grab if you have any kind of a marker, I have a water erasable marker that I like to use, or you can use chalk, anything. You can use a pin too, but this is nice to mark exactly where you want to cut each row. So what I have here, I shifted the first row a little bit down. So what this indicates that now I'm going to cut this block, just this top, off. I obviously don't want that to land inside a square, so I made sure to shift it not too far. So this whole piece gets cut off and then sewn to the bottom of that same row. So then I'm going to continue and shift my pieces. I shifted this one quite a bit further down so that this cut line will be about here. And this is the way I'm going to play with all the pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and shift mine, and we'll speed that up for you, but let's see how this plays out. So now I've shifted my blocks. I'm going to step back and take a look and see if I'm happy with all of it. And once I am happy with the look, I take a picture too to see if I can shift somewhere. I'm noticing if there's a lot of squares kind of bunched together, maybe I can play with that, but I think random is good. So it is what happens, what will happen. So I am going to grab my pen now, and I'll start pulling each row down, bringing it over into my cutting table and making that cut. So what I want to do with my pen, if this is my indicated cut line, approximately, I'm going to just mark on my first row, right about there. And that is going to be where my cut line is. I'm going to take this first row, bring it over to my cutting table so you can see. Here, you'll see my blue marking right there. And so I'm going to grab a ruler. I'm just going to use my mini because it's handy, so I can place any slit right on that mark. And what I want to make sure is I have a horizontal line here along the bottom. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this off right here, like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and pin it right to the bottom so I know exactly where this is going to go. And I take this over to my sewing machine. But before I do that, I also want to make sure that I stay organized. And so this is my row number 1. On the top of it, I will put a clip that will mark that as row number 1 so that I don't get confused once it's time to put it back up on the design wall or wherever I'm laying out my blocks, whether it's on the floor. I know this is the top and I know this is row 1 if we count it from left to right. So just keep that in mind. So now I can go ahead and sew this one, this seam, press it, and put it right back. And I'm going to continue going through my rows like that. Once I have them all chopped and sewn back together, we are going to go ahead and I'm going to take you to through the final step of sewing the whole quilt together. So there it is, and I know you're not to laying it out yet, but I wanted to just include that part because maybe some of you are just making a crib size, so you have that instruction now. But I think it's going to be really fun seeing all these come together. So I did want to talk about one thing right away. For those of you that might want to try a horizontal layout, like this one is, it wasn't laid out like that or sewn like that, but it's looking like it is. And that is very easy to do. So for example, the lap size, the number of blocks you make for lap size with a vertical layout, you can definitely do the horizontal with a similar number of blocks. Maybe you made some extra or maybe you have a few less, but it's really, really doable. And it's completely the same. So let me, can you go show my blocks here for a little bit in the overhead. So you would just lay your blocks horizontally into rows, and just like the other one, you would just figure out a fun layout. Obviously would not put these together, and so on. And then once you sew the rows together, you would shift them. You would have a line just on one side instead of on the top like I did show you for the vertical. So you just have a line that you would cut off on one side and sew to the other side. So it's the same thing, whether you shift them up and down or sideways, it's going to work out just the same. So another thing I wanted to talk about, somebody asked about repeating a tip that I did in the live, not in the pre-recorded instructional part. I did it in the live about the directional fabrics. So to go and watch those again, you have to go to the live feeds again. So you can find those both on Facebook and on YouTube, and just go find that and watch the whole, so that will mean the whole live segment, not just the instructional video. But the instructional videos are all in your account on Jolee Quilt Designs. You will have those forever. Some comments on this part 3, some of you were saying you couldn't find it on Facebook. It's a little bit trickier with Facebook because it's not going to pop up in the crew if you're in the group. So whenever you're watching a live show and want to find it on Facebook, let me just give you one tip. You have to go to our G Designs page. And so it'll look like this when you go to it, and the front page. So this is facebook.com/GeQuiltDesigns, and this will pop up. If you see that little circle with my face in it, when it is red like this, that means we're live. And all you have to do is click on the circle and it'll bring up the live video. So as long as you're going to the right page, and if it's not red and you know I should be live, just refresh your browser and click on it. So that is also a possibility. Maybe your browser didn't refresh because you've been watching before. So make sure you refresh, click on that red circle, and we're right there. But whichever way, YouTube is sometimes a little bit easier because you can subscribe and sign up for notifications very easily, so then YouTube will let you know whenever we're live.
Technology.
Technology. So any other questions? Any questions about this one?
Let's see here.
Yeah?
What about this one?
How many rows for the horizontal layout? Now that is up to you. So the block width, height then, is going to finish at 5 inches. So however long you want your quilt, honestly. So this is really up to you. Like I said, it's a versatile pattern. I would probably do 4 blocks across, and then if you think 5 inches, I like my quilts long, so anywhere between 15 and 20 rows. So up to you. If your background color in a block was very light, did you press to the center square or open? I pressed everything away from the center square. Even if they're light, the see-through, once you have the quilted, it's usually non-existent. But if you are concerned about that, you can always press towards the square. It's just going to be extra bulky that way. Could you sew together the horizontal rows? Yes. I was just talking about that.
Let's see.
I accidentally cut through the 3 instead of 3.5. Yeah, I answered this one already in the comments on 2 sets. You can just swap that out with a square. It should be fine because we are ending up trimming all the blocks. In this case, your block might be a little bit longer, so you might want to trim it this way to the same size as all the rest of your blocks. One thing I wanted to mention, as you are doing your horizontal rows and shifting them, if you end up having one row where the top of the block is right at the line and you're not going to cut that part, you're still going to have to trim that whole row by 1/2 inch. You know why? Because every single row that you do is going to have the same amount of seams if you're cutting from the top and sewing to the bottom. If you have a row that you're not going to cut, it's going to be 1/2 inch longer because there's not that extra seam in there. So just know that. You can trim that off from the top or the bottom. And you know what? This is such a flexible pattern. As you are sewing the rows together, if they're not really straight on the bottom or top, chop it off. It's easy. It's fairly easy, very forgiving. Now, we have another surprise for you. We have another partner shop that is sewing right alongside us, and this time we're heading to Texas, kind of north of San Antonio, west of Austin. Am I right? Is Ruth there? There she is.
Let me turn the volume up.
We can hear you.
I can hear you.
Oh,
Great.
awesome. How's it
Hello.
going in Texas?
It's going great. We've got a beautiful day outside today. Let me see if we can see the crew here. We have a small group of quilters here. And
Awesome.
let me go around.
Oh, look at those Jolie's finished already.
Yeah, well, that was because being a shop partner and an instructor, I got to get the pattern early.
Love that color.
I know it doesn't seem fair.
Yes.
But I also did a little Halloween one. Let's see, where did it go? I'm way on the other side of the room. I'm going to make you guys dizzy. Hang on.
Yeah, was that first one was a Mardi Gras theme, right?
Yes, yep,
Oh,
that was a Mardi Gras. It's a little bit strange when you're doing this on a here. Yeah, that's the Mardi Gras one.
yep.
Here's the Mardi
Beautiful.
Gras one. There you go.
Really fun.
Peaks. And then the other one is this one I tried with small print Halloween fabrics.
Oh, that
And
is fun.
yeah, and they're all directional because there's little people on it. So I wanted them
Yes.
all the same direction.
Easy to make it all oriented the right way for those that
Yes.
can't handle it any other way.
I just had to remember to quit where I laid some right side or directional, so all my people would be going. My
Yes,
triangles would be in the right, or my diamonds would be in the right side. So yeah,
that's
yeah. So we've
great.
got a small group here today and having fun.
Good. Well, I just wanted to tell everybody, so this is Uptown Blanco Textile Studio, Blanco, Texas, and Ruth is a certified instructor. You have lots of stripology classes. I just saw a comment pop up that I wish I would have known. I would have driven down. So
Make sure you get on our email list, then you'll know.
yes, always lots of stuff going on, lots of great stripologists being created in Blanco, Texas all the time, right?
Yeah.
And so any support you need and you're in the area, go visit. But thank you so much for checking in. Is everybody having fun?
Yes.
Great. Well, thank you so much. We'll see you.
Okay, thank
see you
you.
soon. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
How fun is that? I love being able to check in with folks like this and supporting our partners. So if you're in the area of any of our partners, and if you want to find out who, which stores are Stripology Partner stores already, go to our website. There's under Stripology, there is a Stripology Shop Partner listing. It will list all the shops, even dots on a map to see where they are. And you know what? We got new ones joining us all the time. So we're very excited about building our network of Stripology partners. But before we dive into, well, before we end our part 3, we have something special.
The winners first.
Well, let's do the winners. So I completely forgot in the last segment, I drew a winner from all your comments in segment 1 and in segment 2. And I will do it also for segment 3. So the winners, we're going to send you something great. So if you're a winner, just email us to help@GQuiltDesigns. Segment 1, our winner was?
We got segment 1 and 2.
1 and 2, okay. Doesn't matter. So
Drum roll.
our winners so far, segment 1 and 2, are Barb Miller and Terry Murr. Congratulations. Just email us and let us know so we can confirm your shipping address. We're going to send you a little surprise to thank you for being a part of our Jolee Quilt Along. But I think we have a little bonus segment, don't we, Mr. HP? Do you want to talk about that?
You know, I figured we better do a little yoga stretch. Just a little bit.
I think it's time. We're like halfway through the day.
Not
And
too much.
shoulders are getting tight.
So I felt the need to get out of the house. So I taped a little yoga stretch outside.
Yeah, just a half hour ago. So
Yeah.
let's take a little minute. If you want to join in, just push back from your sewing machine and enjoy.
Well, since I have the opportunity to come outside, I'm going to do it. I'm in Florida. It's beautiful out here. So some of you might not have this opportunity, but maybe push away from your sewing machine for a second and just let's take a minute as we do our Jolee. It's sometimes nice to just take a minute and breathe, stretch, rejuvenate, and get ready for the second half of the day. All right, so if you're sitting, stand up for a moment, shake it out, and then sit back down. A little seated yoga stretch to release the tension in our shoulders, back, hips. Just 5-6 minutes of seated yoga. What I want you to do is sit nice and tall, the edge of your chair, engage your abdominal to support your lower back, rest your palms or your hands on your knees, relax your shoulders down from your ears, close your eyes if you want to, and just take a minute here just to breathe and soak in the moment. Whether you are still in your sewing room, whether you go to another room, just take a moment here just to breathe and enjoy the present moment. Inhale through your nose, Exhale through your mouth. Deep breath, inhale. And exhale. One more time. Deep inhalation. And exhale. Relaxing your shoulders down from your ears. And just 30 seconds here just to sit tall and breathe and be present and thankful that we're able to sew together working on our Jolee. Okay, I know you're anxious to get back to your Jolee. Let's start with just big head rolls, one direction. Release the tension in the neck. Big head rolls. Not that you have a big head, but it's just a big roll, loosening through the neck. I have a big head, but some people would say. Opposite direction. Roll it around, roll it around. Feel the pops, the nicks, the cracks. And just tilt your head over to the right side, right ear to your right shoulder. Feel the stretch down the side of your opposite side of your neck. Inhale up, other side, left ear to left shoulder. Feel the stretch down the right side of your neck. And then look up to the sky. Nice stretch through the throat. And then chin to your chest. I might touch my microphone, but. And back up. And big shoulder rolls back. Roll the shoulders. And forward. Big shoulder rolls. They tend to get a little tense when we're sitting there over our sewing machines. Nice job. Take your right arm across, nice and straight. Rear shoulder stretch and pull it in. And as you pull it in, turn to the right. Relax your shoulders down from your ears and hold. Always breathing, never holding your breath. Nice. Take that same arm behind your back and either grab your wrist, your forearm, or your elbow. And just hold here, stretching the front side of the shoulders. Breathe. And release. Opposite side. Bring your left arm across, nice and straight. Pull it in. Feel the stretch in your rear shoulder. And turn your head to the left. Hold and breathe. Meaning hold the stretch, but continue to breathe. And release. Bring that arm behind your back and maybe just grab your wrist or your forearm or your elbow, whatever you can. We all have certain limitations. You know what's best. If it just does not feel right, remember, don't do it. We have to be smarter, not work harder. And release that and just shake those arms out. Going to our wrist, right arm, fingers towards the sky, and just pull them back and feel the stretch in your forearm. Nice stretch there. And point the fingers down and pull it in nice and easily. Feel a little stretch, go right to the point where you just won't go any further and just hold it and breathe. Nice job. And shake that wrist out. Opposite hand. Pull those fingers back towards you. Hold here and breathe. Feel the stretch in the forearm. And point the fingers down. Feel the stretch in the wrist. Top of the forearm. Hold here. And shake it out. A little bit of seated cat and cow stretch. So as you inhale, you look up, you arch your back. And as you exhale, chin to your chest, round out your back, open up through your shoulders. Inhale, open. Exhale, mad cat, round it out. Engage your abdominal. Inhale, open to the sky, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. And then a little torso rotation. Rotate, circular motion with the torso. And then the other direction. Torso, torso. Stir the pot, stir the pot. And shake it out again. Now just going to the hips. Take your right ankle across your left knee and let your right knee just kind of fall open. Sit nice and tall. And as you exhale, fold forward, leading with your chest, and feel that stretch in that right hip. Breathe through it. Allow the muscle to release. We do a lot of seating, a lot of sitting, so it's good to open up through the hips a little bit. And take that down. Other side, left ankle, cross the right knee. Let that left knee fall open to wherever it can. Take a deep breath, sit nice and tall, and then exhale, fold forward at the hips right to the point you feel like, ouch, I can't go any further. And you hold it there and you breathe. Allow that hip to open up and to release. Inhale, you come up and you shake those legs out and you stand up again and you shake it out and you sit back down and you bring your palms together in front of your heart. 3 deep breaths, big circle to the sky. Inhale, circle up high. Exhale, palms back together in front of your heart. Inhale, circle to the sky. Exhale, palms together in front of your heart. 1 more big circle, 1 more inhale, circle high. Exhale, palms together in front of your heart. And as we close our little seated yoga today, I say to you, may the light in me salute the light in you all. Continue your Jolee. And if you have to get Jack out, that's okay. Just breathe through it. Enjoy. Namaste. Back to Jolee.
That little break, it's always good. And remember, you can go back to the live and do it again whenever you want today.
And
to get a little, you know what? He cracked me up during the segment because you all were commenting how great this was. These stretches are fantastic. And all he kept saying is like, if they're so fantastic, stop typing and get back to stretching.
No typing. Get back in.
He's kind of a hard one when he's your trainer, you know?
Stay in the moment, and then after it's done, then go type.
No, it's okay. It's all good. You do you.
Love it.
I just thought that was funny.
You guys are the best.
Oh, gosh, yes. So that was our part 3. We have one more segment, everybody. So
It's going by so quick.
I know, it goes by fast.
Can we do it all over again?
No, we
make
have one
another
more.
one.
We have one more. We have one more.
And then we'll go back
Still
to the
more
top?
surprises. So we'll announce our part 3 and part 4 winners next segment. So keep commenting.
This is why we do.
Oh, let's talk about the intro song. Everybody's been talking about how great the intro song as we're waiting to go live.
Oh yeah, that intro song.
Tell
My
them what that
sister's
is.
Singing. It's called "Come Together." My band. We did this record back when I was younger. TKO is called the Kaj Orchestra, and that song was called "Come Together." I thought it was perfect for this.
It was original, yeah. Perfect.
Perfect.
Thank you all for liking that. All right, so we will be back in about an hour and 15 minutes. This one was a longer one. So we will be live on Facebook and YouTube, so don't miss it. We'll see you in a little bit. Bye, everybody.
Step into the groove, it's the place to stay. GE Designs got the stripology way. Quilting with the beat, you feel that heat. We're the rulers of the strips, every inch so neat. Lay your fabric here, lay it right here. Cut it right there, cut it right there. Precision in the rhythm can't help but stand. From morning to night we could and we can. Every quilt a masterpiece, nothing can compare. Home of the stripology, feel that vibe. GE Designs. Measure once, cut twice. That's the funky rule. Stripology magic, yeah, yeah. It's hella cool. Turn that fabric loose, make it strut and stroll. We're jamming with the quilts in control. Oh, everybody now, lift up those strips, lift up those strips. Feel the stripology, adding flair to your life, from edge to edge. We groove through the night, sew it up, show it off with a glorious sight. The stripology, feel that vibe. G designs where precision is our vibe. Cut it, slice it, make it so right. Quilter's paradise, sewing in the moonlight. Lay your fabric here, cut it right there. Home of the stripology, feel that vibe. Quilter's paradise. Home of the stripology, feel that vibe. G designs where precision is our vibe. Cut it, slice it, make it so right.